Well, I thought our guys did a really, really nice job defensively. We challenged them before we left Atlanta. We said we were 80 minutes away from playing an NCAA tournament, and that we had to play 80 minutes of great defense. I knew we could score, but I challenged them to see if we can play our best defensive games, back-to-back games. These guys were a little tired, but I thought defensively we were all over the place. To hold a team that almost averages 80 points a game to 45 points is pretty impressive. And so we really challenged it. Matter of fact, we spent the entire week working defensively. I don't even know if we did, and these guys are mad because we didn't do much offensively. We spent the entire week just getting after defensively because we know that if the offensive part will come for us, even if we're struggling a little bit, that's going to come. But defensively is where we wanted to kind of make our statement here in this tournament.
Thank you, Coach. This time we'll open it up to questions for the student athletes only. Please wait for a microphone and identify yourself by name and media outlet.
Doug Robertson with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Ryan, how important was this game for you after last year's SEC tournament?
It was real important. I actually had nightmares last night about the SEC tournament and thinking back, like, I don't know how I'm going to play in the tournament, but I just wanted to come out here and do well for the team and just get the win, and that's what happened.
Did all the work on defense this week affect the offense in the first half? It seemed like y'all were a little kind of out of sync.
I think it was just, the playoff jitters, maybe, just coming out and worrying about defense and making sure that we got stops because we saw how they played yesterday, and we wanted to just lock down on them first, and we knew that our offense would come.
Moving all the way to the front right.
Chris Hilliard, PantherTalk.com. Ryan, obviously RJ got off to a slow start shooting the ball. Did you feel any responsibility to kind of get the team going? And then you seemed to fire the crowd up a little bit too. Was that you just trying to get the team going a little bit?
I think that's just the way I play. Coach always tells me that I have to calm down a little bit because I get too excited sometimes. But that's just the way I get myself going. And once I get going, the rest of the guys see me and they build off of that.
Additional questions, if you can pass that back to Rose. Thank you.
Troy Schulte, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Given what those guys went through last night and just knowing that they'd probably be tired, did you guys make any emphasis to just kind of go at them a little bit harder, maybe get into their legs a little bit quicker and try and win the game pretty early? Or?
Yeah, coming into this game, we told each other that we just need to keep the intensity on them and just try to run. That's what we tried to come in the game and do today. Just run the floor, keep pushing the ball. And we knew after a while their legs was probably going to die out on them because, that 4 overtime game they had last night. And we end up, doing what we had to do today and get that win.
Over here on the left side.
Yeah, this is Ryan Treyals from the NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune. I was wondering, were you here in 2012 when Kentucky won the national championship? And if so, do you remember that experience and what it was like to be here?
Yes, I was here. I watched the game like 2 rows behind the bench, and it was just hard for me to, sit out and not be able to be down there with my guys and, try to help them win. But I was definitely cheering them on, and, I was really excited for them. And after they won, I actually had to drive there, so I had to drive back home after the game. But I was still excited, and, it was a great atmosphere.
Another one on the left side, 3 rows back.
Matt Robertson, Jonesboro's son. Did you guys ever sense the fatigue or just them being tired? Did you get the feeling that they were showing it themselves on the court?
Yeah, I say midway in the game, a lot of shots that they normally make, they was falling a little short, and we was able to see that, and we tried to take advantage of it. And just like I said, just push the ball up the court, and then just keep them running, keep them moving, and it ended up working in our favor.
Additional questions for the student athletes? Okay, thank you very much, guys. You can head back to the locker room. We have someone back there who will show you the way back. We'll now open it up to questions for head coach Ron Hunter. Again, wait for the microphone, please. We're going to the front right.
Doug Robertson, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Can you elaborate a little bit on what exactly y'all worked on in your defense in the past week?
Well, nothing different. We knew that all these teams would really try. We spent our probably about 80% getting ready for Arkansas State. We felt like that we would play Arkansas State, and then if we didn't, then we were going to have to spend a lot more time last night. Last night we didn't have to do a lot because the whole week was prepared for Arkansas State. So every set they ran, we kind of went out and practiced that the entire week. Usually I don't do that. I usually try to kind of mix it up a little bit, but we won about 80-20 Arkansas State, and so I was kind of pulling for them. I wanted 9 overtimes, so I couldn't get that 9th overtime.
Did you prepare for anybody on the other side of the bracket?
No, because I think the first thing you have to do is you got to win the first one. And so it's important for us to win the first one. But for us, we're going to do what we do. Most of the teams do the same thing against us. And again, for us to be effective, if we handle the ball screen part of in the matchup, then we're going to be successful in most of the stuff.
Over here on the left side.
Coach Trehouse from the NOLA.com Times-Picayune. Watching Ryan play, did you have to adjust to how he played after y'all's 3-6 start? Was that part of why y'all are playing so well right now? Just putting him on an off-guard position and putting him at ease?
Yeah, it's funny. After right before actually the Southern Miss game, I told him that I said, listen, what I don't want you to be is a Burger King All-American. I want you to be that McDonald's All-American. And so we got that McDonald's All-American tonight. That Burger King guy we got when we were 3-6, and he's really kind of accepted that role. And when he sees the ball go in early, he's pretty good. And so you don't get guys like that often. I mean, the kids will see he's a special player, but we got a lot of special players.
Right here in the front.
Gary Smith with The Advocate. A lot of number 1 seeds have looked like they've played scared all week long in tournaments. A lot of them have gone down. Your team came out, looked very intense from the start. How much did you talk about that, just coming out and not playing scared?
Well, one of the things that we talked to is that we were 17-1, and last time we played Arkansas State, we got stuck in an airport in Texas. They told us we couldn't fly. We bused to Arkansas. We took a 22-hour trip to get here. We've had a lot of adversity, and so there was nothing that we felt like is going to come into this game that we haven't seen. So, scare is not what we were going to be. We deserve to be the number 1 seed. People talk about the double bye. The double bye helped us. One of the things that I try to. Brad Stevens is a really good friend of mine, and the Horizon, they had the double byes, and they got to the national championship game every time. The Horizon protected their number 1 seeds, and so I don't know if we had to play 3 games. I don't know if we can win that, but the double byes really helped for us. And so, but like I told our kids, we earned that. When you're 17-1, you earn that. And so that's a tough game last night for those guys, but that's the way the system's supposed to work. Your number 1 seed gets protected, and now we were fresh, and they weren't. We've had some great games with them, but we were able to advance.
Back on the right side.
Did you talk to Ryan at all about last year's SEC tournament today, or did he share with you that he had a nightmare last night about it?
Now, I haven't. Ryan and I have not had one conversation about anything that happened at Kentucky. I think that one of the things I said from day one, it's a fresh start for you, everything you do. He's playing the best basketball of his career right now, and so we don't bring up Kentucky. We don't talk about Kentucky. Matter of fact, the other day we were on a team bus, and the bus had a Kentucky game on. I made him turn it off. Ryan got mad. He wanted to see it because Kentucky was losing, and so he wanted to watch it. So we turned off because again, I just want him to move past that. I think enough's been said about Kentucky. He's a Georgia State basketball player now. He's going to graduate with a Georgia State degree, and that's the only thing that matters.
And lastly, you and RJ had a conversation in the first half after he took an off-balance 3-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share? Were you asking him to settle down because he was jacking up a lot of shots at that point?
I'll be honest with you. I told he's supposed to get a car on May 5th. I said, you're not getting a car if you take a shot like that again. And so he looked at me like I was crazy, and I'm dead serious. He said he never shot that shot again. So I got to bribe my son. I just got to bribe him. But he wants a new car, and I said every time you take a bad shot, that you're gonna get a bike. You keep shooting like that. So. Well, if we get to the NCAA tournament, that car gets real nicer. So we'll see.
Alec McQuaid from The Signal. Talk about the less than 24-hour turnaround you have to prepare this team for. Any challenge in getting these guys ready?
No, man, when you get an opportunity to play for the NCAA tournament, I got some seniors in there. I got a whole team of guys that have never been to the NCAA tournament. So my job is actually going to get them to calm down. I thought we were over-hyped up early. That's why we missed some shots. We were ready to play. We were way too hyped up, and I got the same thing tomorrow. These guys right now, they could play. We could play this at 11 o'clock tonight. That will not be a problem.
And just talk a little bit about senior Rashad Richardson. He came in just a few minutes early and really got the momentum shift going on that 3-pointer.
Well, you guys know how I feel about him. He's a guy playing with one knee right now. He should have had surgery in the middle of the season, but he's a senior. He's played it out. He hits a big 3 that gets us rolling. That's the 3rd time in the last month he's done that for us, where he came in and really sparked us. So, but it's been everyone for our team. Everyone has stepped up.
This is the last question here on the right.
Chris Hilliard, PantherTalk.com. Talk about the crowd that traveled. One of the longest travels of any crowd in It's been one of the biggest crowds of the tournament so far.
You know, I was sitting back in the locker room, and I kept hearing all these boos, and I thought, boy, Arkansas brought a lot of people, my goodness, and came out and just so proud of our students, man. You know, to give up your spring break and to travel to New Orleans, although New Orleans isn't a bad place to have spring break, but the crowd was definitely energized us. They were awesome. Again, I could have never envisioned this 3 years ago when I took over this job that I would be sitting here playing that championship game, and it's mostly students in there supporting what we do. Georgia State is a fantastic place, and we are really, really proud of our students. And so our guys want to win this for our students. They didn't want these guys driving all the way down here and not winning for them.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, first thing is Georgia State's a good team, guys. They're really good. They're real efficient offensively. They've got 4 really good players that can play. 3 of them can play at a lot of places. In experience I've had and what I've seen, and they're very good. That's the beginning of it. Second thing is we've always thought to beat Georgia State, because they're committed to playing zone, you've got to make a minimum of 12 threes to beat that team. And you know, we just didn't have it shooting the ball. I thought we got looks we needed to get. I thought Kendrick was really good around the basket. I thought we did enough around the goal to be okay. But from the perimeter, we just couldn't do it. When we played them over there and they beat us 1, I think we made 12 threes that game. When they beat us in overtime at our place, we made 13 threes that game. So I think, and then when Troy State beat them in the league, I think Troy made 14 at their place. So to beat that team, you've got to shoot it from the perimeter, and they're going to give you some of those because they're committed to a zone. But I thought the effort of our team was fine. I wasn't displeased with what we tried to do. You know, when Ed Townsend had a wonderful game last night, he's 1 for 10. You know, Melvin's 1 for 7 from the 3. You know, who had a great game last night. So we just didn't make the shots that we normally make for whatever reason. But still, Georgia State's a good team. I believe, you know, it'd be a shame if they happened to get upset in the championship game and not go to the NCAA tournament. Because some of these teams they're talking about aren't better than Georgia State. There's no question in my mind. Georgia State doesn't have the opportunity as some of these other teams do to play some people that supposedly are supposed to be pretty good. But in what I know, if you put Georgia State in the SEC, they're better than 5 or 6 of those teams that I've seen play. No doubt in my mind, this particular year. Because they've got 3 high major players and 1 that can play a lot of places, a 4th. So they're a deserving team. They won't get any mention as a bubble. They won't get any mention as this or that, simply because, for whatever reason, they don't have the sex appeal, I guess, as some other schools do. But they should, because they're very good. You know, you look at them, Southern Miss was lucky to beat them. Southern Miss threw in a 3 from 30 feet to tie it, and Southern Miss beats them in overtime in Hattiesburg. And they've had some other good wins. So they're a good team. They don't turn it over. But I liked what our guys tried to do today. I appreciate these seniors. You know, Kendrick Washington, I love him to death. Melvin's the same way. Melvin's played with us a year, and you know, they've helped me, and I've gained something from them, and I hope they've gained something from me. But you know, basketball's a tough draw, because unless you win a national championship, you always lose your last game, and that's the only downside of this. But we won 19 games a year ago, won 19 games again this year, and I don't know if Arkansas State's won back-to-back 19 games in a number of years. So, you know, I like what these seniors did for us. I like the players we have sitting out. I like the team we have coming back. I'm in love with our recruiting class. So I'm looking forward to what lies ahead. And all of these seniors that played for us are going to get their degrees and graduate. They're on line to do that in May. So I'm proud of them in that regard. But Georgia State's good. We didn't have it tonight in terms of shooting the ball, like I said before. But I thought the effort of our team and what we tried to do was very good, and I was pleased with what they tried to do.
Thank you, Coach. This time we'll open it up for questions for the student athletes only. We'll start on the right side.
Guys, either one of you, can you just talk about how you guys felt physically, when you got here, and then looked like you guys had a pretty good spark the first 5 minutes, and then looked like you got a little tired. I mean, did you feel fatigued pretty much the whole day, or how did you feel considering last night?
Yeah, the first 5 minutes was cool. I mean, I guess we obviously was more tired than we thought we was, but I don't want to make an excuse and say that's why we, didn't win this game, because I don't feel that fatigue was the reason why we didn't win this game. I feel like I didn't make some shots that I was supposed to make, that I've been making all year. For some reason, I just wasn't going in. And like I said, our other perimeter guys as well, like shots that we easily make, we've been making all year. We played 30-plus games. Shots that we supposed to make, we didn't make those shots. Well, our perimeter, us as a perimeter didn't make plays down the stretch. I feel like we guarded their best player, like, real well. Like, I feel like we had some good defensive stops, but on the offensive end, we didn't have anything today. So that's really the only thing.
Kendrick, any thoughts on the fatigue or how you felt going into the game?
I mean, we felt good going into the game. I mean, we came out with a little energy. I basically say it was just the defensive part and just trying to just get over that little hump, because once they got the little lead, it was kind of hard to kind of get it back with them not turning it over and with us kind of making mistakes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, we tried to fight, but I guess they just a better team. They didn't turn it over more, like they executed more of their plays. It's basically the base of it.
Yeah,
no excuses.
Yeah, we just couldn't get over that hump. Like, first half, we got down like 8 or 9. And I think that's when it started. Like, when we started missing shots, I think I missed like a couple in a row. And then, like I said, they wouldn't turn the ball over, like Kendra said. So it was kind of hard to get the ball back. Like, so they was just executing their offense, running their plays. They got those two small guards who can dribble around a lot. So they kind of created a lot of offense for them. So, it's just a hump, an 8 or 9 point hump that we just couldn't get over.
And foul trouble played a part into, with kind of a couple of guys getting in foul trouble, me in particular. I kind of, I wouldn't say softened up, but I kind of relaxed a little bit more because I knew I was needed more on the team out there than on the bench. So I was trying to just stay out there, do whatever I can to help the team.
The question in the front left.
Gary Smith with the Advocate. Melvin, you mentioned may have been a little tired. Is part of the hardest thing when you're tired is shots that you think are going in aren't going in? Is it more that it's not the physical feeling of it, it's just the reality of things that you normally do aren't working for you?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't, like, in my mind, I didn't feel like, oh, like I'm tired, like I'm not making shots 'cause I'm tired. Like, I guess it was just kind of one of those things where it's just like one of those, your brain is not linked in with your body, and I guess my body was just, like, you know what I'm saying? But like I said earlier, like, I'm not going to use that as an excuse because, like, mentally, like, I wasn't tired. Like, and to be honest, like, I didn't feel physically tired out there either. But I guess it was just one of those days. For me, I guess it was one of those days.
I mean, you're looking at a guy right here that's third in the country in three-point field goal percentage. It's not like he shot 50 of them. He shot more than most. So, for him to, be 1 for 7 is probably the worst he shot the ball all year.
Additional questions for the student athletes? Okay, guys, thank you very much. You can head back to the locker room. We'll have somebody to take you back there.
Amen.
We'll now open it up to questions for head coach John Brady. Over to the right side.
Coach, can you just comment on your start? Right here. On the start, those first 5 or 6 minutes, I mean, given the team you were playing and what you faced last night, I mean, that had to have been exactly what you thought you guys needed to kind of stay in this game, right?
Yeah, we kind of ran some things we thought would work, and but if you really analyze it, and it becomes simplistic, really. Whatever we ran early, the basket went in. We shot it and it went in the basket. And you go, wow, they're running good offense. And then I don't believe I ever criticized a player all night for taking a bad shot except Rakeem Dickerson threw one up. Now, we shot a couple quick a little bit once we got down. But when the game was on and it was rolling around within 10 points or so, I didn't really criticize one player for taking a bad shot. And that's all, we can do as a team is have the right people shooting the ball from the right spot on something that you think may work. Now, whether it goes in the goal or not, that's another issue. So I don't think it's good offense or bad offense by the judgment of the ball going through the basket. Now, to people that watch it, they say, wow, it's great offense, it went in. But you can run pretty good offense and get the shots you want and don't make it. And I think for the most part, now I didn't sit down and went through the film frame by frame like I eventually will. Be next week before I get to this one because we're not going to play for a while. But I wasn't really just sitting there on the bench with all the games I've watched and been through. I didn't really just say, God, we're shooting, we're taking terrible shots. We're not executing offense. So, and I told them that during the whole game. I was never concerned about that. And look, that team, they score 72. They score 6 points late, okay? So the reality of it is that team scores 66 or 68 points against us. Defensively, we were fine. We were fine. I'll play Georgia State every day and give them 70 because they're that good offensively. We just didn't make some shots that we needed to make against them or normally make. And my theory against Georgia State, if you make 12 threes or more, you're in the game. And we had the team that was capable of doing it. We just didn't do it this afternoon.
Coach, did you
it's going to be deep.
Did you feel like the fatigue, the 4 overtimes, was that a factor?
Well, that's something. I know you're my beat writer and you can't write a column, so that's a column somebody needs to write. And I don't want to go down that road. The players answered that, and just go with what they say because they played the game. But you play with the hand you're dealt, and our game last night happened to go 4 overtimes. A great game. Adrenaline was rolling. I got maybe 4 hours sleep last night. I can't even imagine what our players did. So, but that's the hand we were dealt. And you've got to play it, play the cards, and that's for somebody to see. But I'm not going to go there and say that's a reason. It's like I said when I opened up this conversation. Georgia State's a good team. They're efficient offensively. They've got weapons. They're very good, and they're not 22 points better than us because we've proven during the course of the year when they beat us 1 at their place and overtime at our place. So something made us miss some shots, and I thought we had some pretty good shots. So today we didn't make them, and the score proved it. But defensively, 70 points, 68 points, that's a good number against that team. And whoever plays them tomorrow, they're hoping they can hold them to 70 or 72. I promise you.
When you consider the circumstances you guys played this game under, did you think about milking the clock, slowing it down to kind of a crawl and playing it that way?
Are you saying I played too fast? What's that mean?
No, I'm just wondering if you thought about, a real slow pace.
I thought the pace was kind of what we wanted. I didn't think the game was fast-paced. I didn't think the game was – I thought we shot a couple of shots maybe a little quick once we got behind. But in terms of when the game was on, I had no problem with what we were doing or how we were trying to do it.
One on the right side now.
Coach, you talking earlier. Man, that mic's hot. Coach, you was talking earlier about.
Yes, I was looking at my wife back there.
Graduating.
She cleared her throat and didn't want me to say anything stupid. Because there's some of these guys that know me from Baton Rouge that I have said some stupid stuff in my time.
Okay, change gears a little bit.
Okay.
You were talking about graduating seniors. Talk about that a little bit. A lot of times that's overlooked, but you're talking about your seniors that are graduating.
those guys we had were great. You know, it's like I alluded to them last night a little bit. Strong personalities, Kendrick Washington and Melvin Johnson and Brandon Reed and Ed Townsend, Kirk Van Slyke. Strong personalities. That's going to bode them well when they get out there on their own and start having to make it, because they're resilient, they're tough, and they're not. And I say strong personalities, a challenge to put all that together to make us play unselfish. But it's not a bad thing. They're great guys. They're all going to graduate. They're good students, and I'm going to miss them. And they won 19 games for us, and the people that followed our team, you know as well as I, there are 3 games out there that we just left on the table. You know, that was a 21, 22 win team, and we just left a couple out there. And sometimes that happens. But you know, it was a good year for us. You know, at where we are, I don't want people to judge a good team or a bad year or a good year based on if you didn't go to the NCAA tournament. As I've said in my 5 years at this university, it's more difficult to go to the NCAA tournament in the Sun Belt Conference than it is in the Southeastern Conference. If the Southeastern Conference is right, there should be 5 teams minimum every year. The years at LSU and we were good, going to the SEC tournament didn't matter. You may play for a 4 or 5 seed, maybe a 2 seed. You were in. Here, you're not in anything. You could win the regular season. Georgia State doesn't win this tournament, people won't even know they won the regular season. They'll know who won the tournament, went to the NCAA. So it's difficult to play 3 or 4 games in a row and win it. So that's why these seniors have been good for Arkansas State basketball. 19 wins, that's 38 wins we've had in the last 2 years. It's been a long time since they won 38 games in 2 years at Arkansas State. Now, can we do better? Yes. Do we want to do better? Absolutely. Are we going to do better? No doubt. But this team solidified our program. I think you asked the other coaches in this league, we're one of the top 2 or 3 teams in this league. We've been that way. We're going to be that way next year because of the players we have back, the players we have sitting out, and a 7-man recruiting class that's the best I've ever had in the 6 years here. So these seniors did a great job. Going to miss them, enjoyed them, challenging at times, but in a good way. And appreciate all they've done, and they're all going to be successful in whatever they choose to do.
One final question here on the right.
Yeah, Coach, can you talk about the specific challenge in trying to defend Ryan Harrow with his ability to dribble and penetrate?
Well, you know, we guarded their plays when we went man-to-man. Whatever play they ran, we guarded that pretty well. It's at the end of the play when he manufactures plays off a ball screen. That's when I think they're their most dangerous. They ought to throw those sets out the window and just let him play with the ball and feed it and dish it to some of those, you know, Manny or Hunter, the coach's son. They can really shoot it, and he's just extremely difficult to guard. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but he can hit the 15 to 16, 17 footer consistently, and he's very good at getting the ball to the rim. He can read a ball screen extremely well, and he's unselfish. And he's really good. I mean, he wasn't a top 5 point guard in the country. He went to NC State and went to Kentucky because he's no good. You know, he may have had a little baggage here and there or whatever. I don't know. He may, you know, anytime you pop 2 schools like that, something wasn't right. But he's settled in at a place now where he's really good. He was a highly recruited young man, and people forget really how highly recruited he was coming out of high school. So now he's in the Sun Belt and the best point guard in the league.
Thank you very much, Coach.
All right.